Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 4 of Kwanzaa. Habari gani is the question, and the answer is Ujamma. Ujamma means cooperative economics. So, what does that mean? Today, we talk about some of the history that we have long in some areas forgotten and in certain areas don't even know about. I know this year, 2021, we celebrated Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That was a big, big feat. They're actually talking about reparations for the families that they can still account for. That's amazing. We have been doing things locally, talking about hashtag Bank Black, hashtag Buy Black, hashtag Shop Black, hashtag Black Wall Street. So all of those things. But do we really know the history behind what all goes into that? So I wanted to share. I was watching this show called Lovecraft Country, and at first, I thought it was like, this is a little weird, but then I couldn't stop watching it. Then I started having nightmares about some of the stuff that I was watching. And nightmares, not bad ones, but nightmares. Well, I guess nightmare is a bad one, right? So you can't say nightmares are not bad. But it was because it was reality. A lot of what they were showing, it seemed like it was unreal, but in actuality, it is what we go through. Living two lives as a Black person, sometimes having to be put on our white face when we're going into certain arenas. And that is a realistic thing. In the show, which is a HBO series, I think, they talk about you got to watch it. I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's definitely a show and it's a series to watch. It opened my eyes to a lot of history. It helped me to research a lot of things. I learned about sundown towns, which is something that I didn't know about. And if you don't know what a sundown town is, basically, if you were caught in a certain town after sundown, the community had rights to hang you. And I was like, what? Like, that's crazy. But yeah, these are rules that were there in the past. And guess what? Some of those rules still exist. They have not changed the rules. They just overlook them. But guess what? When certain things happen, do know that those rules will be picked back up in those towns. So definitely check and see. I was very surprised to find out that some of the towns that I frequent here in New York City are sundown towns or used to be sundown towns, and kind of explains a lot. So definitely check into that. Another thing that I found out along the lines of what we're talking about today about Black economics is about our Black Wall Streets. We know about Tulsa, Oklahoma, at least most of us do. And I would hope that after this year, 2021, that a lot of us know more about Black Wall Street. It was a community that Black people were able to put together that had schools, churches, banks, stores, markets, hair salons, all of those things that a community needs to thrive and survive, right? And it was self-sustaining. That's the biggest part of it. It was self-sustaining. And we are now trying to think of different ways of how we can kind of create this kind of ecosystem for ourselves where our money stays within the circle a lot longer than it does now, right? So one of the things that I did not know was Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma was not the only place that there was a Black Wall Street. I know, I'm just like, I could not believe it myself. So there was a place in Brownsville, and it's called Bronzeville in Chicago. That was also another Black Wall Street. We also had I don't know how to pronounce it, Haiti or Haiti, Hayti in Durham. We also had Sweet Auburn in Atlanta, Georgia, West 9th Street in Little Rock, Arkansas, and Farrar Street in Jackson, Mississippi. Definitely look it up. Some of these towns no longer exist because, well, not some, all of these towns no longer exist because they were burnt down, just like Tulsa was. And what is even funnier is that they were burnt down and created into national monuments. Some of them are national parks. I know ours here in New York City. Yep, right here in New York, we also had our own in Central Park, and that was burnt down, and that is now a national park, right? Some other areas are national lakes. So there are these big monuments in the communities, but they're not recognized for what they were in the Black community. And these are things that are not taught in our schools. They won't teach us that in our schools. They'll teach us, about the slavery part, and that's it, and how we struggled and how we got through what we got through and we made it. But there are so many advancements that we made, even back then when there was still so much slavery, so much heartache and headache that was going on. We still made great strides, even in the past. And so I definitely implore you to listen to, we're going to show you a little documentary. It is eye-opening, so definitely watch it. We're also going to show you a something, a little cartoon about Kwanzaa, as we always do. And then we're going to talk to you a little bit about what we have in store again for Juneteenth. We're looking for vendors, so we definitely hope that if you are interested, that you will join us on either our virtual platform, which would be Friday is the main day, but your information would stay up throughout the year on our platform, or in person on Saturday, or in person on Sunday. And we will be having some information sessions in the new year to tell you a little bit more about that. So we hope that you will join us. We look forward to hearing your feedback about all of the information that you learn about these videos, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.
In this giant world, people celebrate the end of the year in different ways. And right now, I want to talk to you about Kwanzaa. Even if you've never heard of Kwanzaa, I'm going to talk to you about where Kwanzaa came from and how it's celebrated. The word Kwanzaa is a key Swahili word meaning first. But Kwanzaa is not a festival from the 55 African countries or an African Christmas. Kwanzaa is a holiday that was introduced in 1966 to the United States during the Civil Rights Movement. The purpose for Kwanzaa for African Americans is that it allows the celebration of African heritage and life. Kwanzaa is celebrated from December 26th through January 1st. The celebration includes symbols like ears of dried corn, a wood stick, and colorful tablecloths to decorate, and ends with the feast and the giving of gifts. Kwanzaa was introduced by Professor Maulana Karenga of California State University at Long Beach. There, Professor Karenga taught at the university as a professor of African American Studies. In celebrating Kwanzaa, it is based around 7 key principles. These 7 things are the main parts of the celebration and include a different principle each day. This can be seen with the wooden candlestick, which is called a kinara, that holds 7 candles. 1 black candle in the middle of the wooden candlestick as a symbol of unity, and 3 more green and red candles that total 7. On day 1, the black candle is lit, representing Umoja. This is a time for families and friends to get together. While enjoying spending time with each other, it is also a time where feelings can be expressed and problems can be worked out. On day 2, a red candle is lit for Kuji Cha Gulia, which means self-determination. This is a time set aside for finding out who we are and how to speak to ourselves. On day 3, a green candle is lit for Ujamma, which means working together and being responsible. This time is used to build the community and work with our brothers and sisters. On day 4, another red candle is lit for Ujamaa, which means to support African American business and build them up. This is done to help support the African American community to provide for itself with jobs and creating products. On day 5, another green candle is lit for Nia, which means purpose. This is a day of togetherness, sharing dreams and hopes of what your goals are for the new year. On day 6, a red candle is lit for Kumba, which means creativity. Then on day 7, a green candle is lit for Imani. This is a day of togetherness and sharing a feast. Bake ham, roasted yams, collard greens, thick bread, and many other foods. And that is the story behind the celebration of Kwanzaa. And I hope you enjoyed my quick lesson on what Kwanzaa is.